Let's Imola down some lap times. Oh, Imola, this track, man. I struggle mightily here. Was able to get down to a 144.544, which I feel is a lot better than last time we were here. I still think the fast guys are going to be doing low 43s, maybe some 42s in there. We'll see. But before I ramble on too long, we'll show you the quick lap, and then we'll go through what's in my brain when I'm doing it, and we'll come back for some final thoughts. Here we go.
You've just done a 144.60. You're less than a tenth off your best. Sector 1 is quick. That lap time was 144.54. Sector 3 times okay.
All right, Porsche Cup. Imola was able to get a 144.544. It's a fixed setup. We've moved the brake bias back to minus 5.5 or 41.1% if you prefer that way. Let's go through how we did it. Start, finish straight, flat out here. So we're gonna brake around the 200 marker as it comes up here. So as we brake, we're gonna brake in a straight line. Get our big braking done. And we gotta turn in a little bit because the road turns a tiny bit here, but we're already letting up just a smidge. And we're getting ready to lift a bit as we come up to here. We're getting down to third gear. And turn the car in. Hold that little bit of brake pressure. I think the fastest guys hit these anti-cut things, but if I do that, it upsets the car so much I can't keep it under control. So I don't hit that, but we're just holding that little bit of brake pressure. We'll roll up onto the curb a little bit and start putting the throttle back down. And we're gonna get the wheel back down. Once we get the car settled a bit, we're gonna get full throttle, and then I end up lifting a smidge here. I think, again, the fastest guys can use those anti-cuts and keep it pinned, but I have to lift a little bit as we go through there. And then we're going to get the car a little bit wide, just kind of into the middle of the road here, and then turn back in towards this corner here. We get that turn in going early so we can get the corner made. And we do tap the that little anti-cut sausage a little bit here. We're just going full throttle. And we got to kind of watch on our exit that we don't go out too wide, but we can use the curb a bit here. I guess you can probably go just a tiny bit wider than I did, but not very much at all, like maybe an inch or two. So we have full throttle through here now. Around the 100 marker is where we're going to start braking a little bit. So keep going, and we're going to start braking around the 100 marker. Just a little bit. And start downshift and return in, and we're going to hit these anti-cuts on the left here. These are a little bit easier. This curbing and this stuff is a little bit easier to take. and we're gonna just keep that little bit of brake pressure going, and then we're just gonna increase it, downshift to third for this next corner here. And just hold a tiny bit of pressure, roll up on the curb just a smidge, and we're gonna start putting some power down. We gotta wait to put the rest of the power down until we get the car settled, or mostly settled, and then we can get full power. Can't go out much wider than this. That's about as far as you can go, but we can use all that curb. And we're gonna start coming up. We're pointing the car towards this access road around the 50 marker. It's kind of my cue there to hit the brakes. Is the end of this access road here. I guess the beginning is when I kind of start putting them on, and then I peak at the end of it. We're gonna get down to second for this corner. Let's start turning in here. I have a tendency to want to turn in too early on this corner, I believe, but I think we did a good job on this one, this lap. Just hold a little bit of brake pressure as we come around, bring the car around, just a little bit more wheel, and then we can start putting some throttle in, start unwinding the wheel. Unwind it a bit more, and we're gonna come out onto the curb a little bit here. We've got full throttle now as we've unwound the wheel, and then we can use a bit of this curbing, and then it's just full throttle here. Then as we come up, we're gonna brake around the 50 marker. There is a patch of brownish grass around the same area, so I like to use this, but if you can't see that, the 50 marker works too. Except if there's a car right in front of you, it's hard to use these kind of brake markers. We're gonna hit that. We're gonna hit the brakes a bit. Gotta slow down. Kind of heavier than I initially anticipated. We can go a little bit deeper that way. It seems to work out all right. But we're gonna kind of come off of the brakes pretty quick, and then we're just gonna hold that little bit of brake pressure, keeping the nose grip down, the weight shifted forward, get down to third, and just hold that little bit of brake pressure until we start to feel the car come around, and then we can put our little bit of throttle in, and then the rest of the way. And we can come out a fair bit onto this curbing here. A little bit more than what I did, I think is okay. Can't remember exactly where the cutoff is, but we're just going full throttle through here. This next section is tough. Unfortunately, we can't, there's no like acceleration in the middle, just kind of like that second chicane that we went through. So we're gonna hit the brakes around the 50 marker. I have a tendency to get too heavy on the brakes here. I did it right on this one, just to maybe 25% on the brakes. Get us slowed down so we can make this corner. And then just hold a tiny bit of brake pressure as we're coming through. And then as we kind of get to the part where we're going straight, we're going to increase the brake pressure again for this next corner. And then we're going to downshift. We're going to get to second and start easing off the brakes. Trail braking for this second corner. Then we can start putting some throttle in as we come around and we've finished our rotation. Or we've hit the maximum point of our rotation. Sorry, we didn't finish. We're still turning, but we've hit the maximum point. And then we're just full throttle up here. We can keep our right wheels on this side, and we can use this on the left. Gotta watch how far you go. I think that we've used about as much as we can there. We've done a good job with that. Now we're gonna go full throttle for this next section. And we're gonna brake around a little bit after the 100 board here. So we're going through. Then after the 100 board, we're gonna start hitting the brakes and hit them pretty decently heavy. And we're gonna get down to second gear for this section here. I didn't mean to rhyme, but I did. And we're gonna start turning in and easing off the brakes at the same time. We're gonna clip this curb. I don't think I use these curbs efficiently enough. I think we have when I learned this track, the track limits on the curbs are much stricter, and they're not as strict now. But we've let off the throttle for that first curb, and we're starting to put a little bit of throttle in once we come over this one here. So just a little bit of throttle. Take that curb there. And start unwinding the wheel, and we can get the rest of the throttle in, and we got to keep turning. And then we are just pointing straight down the road. My next braking point is going to be a little bit after this corner. So we're going to turn in for this corner. We're still full throttle. Kind of lift, and I guess I started braking a little bit earlier than I thought there, but like my brain is thinking kind of right around here, which is where we're braking. So decently heavy on the brakes. And we're going to get down to second as we go here, third. And then turn in just a smidge in second. And continue turning in more as we're letting off on the brakes. Hold that tiny bit of brake pressure as we come around, and then we can start putting a little bit of throttle in once we get that, like we said, we've hit the maximum point of rotation. We're still rotating, but we're rotating less and less at this point now. And we're going to get the rest of the throttle in. And then as we come through here, we're going to start just tap on the brakes. I was probably maybe a little bit heavy on them there. Not too bad, but maybe just a little bit less if you can do it. I have trouble with my brakes doing less than like 5%, but we just want to kind of breathe on the brakes there just to get that turn in going. And then we can start, as we get around, we can start putting a little bit of throttle in to get the car settled, and the rest of the way around we can put the rest of the throttle in. Gonna keep pointing the car to the left as we come up onto this curb here. It's about as much curb as you can take. And we are full throttle the rest of the way down the straight. We'll just kind of keep on the right hand side here. And then we'll come through, and we got ourselves a 144, 544. So yeah, last time we were here, I think my best lap before the race, the demo lap I showed was like a 45-1 or something like that, and I struggled. So being in the 44s, I'm pretty happy with. Hopefully I can keep it there, and that's like get my floor down into the high 44s maybe, or at least the really low 45s instead of my floor being in the higher 45s. So we'll get there. This is one of those tracks I've historically struggled at. So we'll see how the races go. Head on over to twitch.tv/thepiltdownman if you want to watch along live when we do that. If you enjoyed this video, thumbs up. If you didn't, that works too. And if you think I earned it, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Bye!